When I was thinking about 2025, I thought, wow, this year has been a challenge in many ways for us and in so many different ways, especially if you've been watching the news. But when I think of SAFE, I thought of shining. It really just stood out to me that we have turned a corner, we have gained traction. We are not just meeting and exchanging ideas, which is really the core and the heart of SAFE, but we are producing results that really have meaning and impact. So, before I jump into those examples, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the many SAFE members, volunteers, and supporters whose dedication continues to advance climate action across senior living communities nationwide. This is one of my favorite slides. I've used it once before. I went out on the internet and grabbed the marketing photos and the aerial photos of many of your communities, and it really shows us just how much potential there is out there for senior living communities to lead the way. So if you don't see your community here, please let me know, and I'm happy to add it to the lineup. Ah, yes, the famous SAFE headquarters. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I wish that I had some kind of place to go that was close to all of you where we could get together and have a meeting, have a chat, have coffee, go out to lunch, and maybe in some fun building that overlooked nature like this one. But fortunately or unfortunately, I think fortunately, we are located across the country, so we are run virtually. So instead, I like to think of our website as a kind of headquarters or an office, or at least as a giant filing cabinet where you can come and get what you need. So let's take a little tour of our website. And that is in all electric bus, by the way, and it is powered by solar energy. Some of you are very familiar with our website, and some of you don't hang out here on a regular basis, which is understandable. So let me go ahead and point out a few highlights of the website. First of all, this website was redesigned early in the year to make it much easier to navigate and able to hold the increasing amount of content that we are posting here. So on the homepage, you can always see what's new, the latest information that we've posted to the website. If we tell you something is on the website, this might be the place where you go and find it. We have a handy dandy calendar here that you can check for meetings coming up. Our latest case studies are posted here. And by the way, when you're looking at the what's new, you can always click on the view all if you want to see more. The latest books. These books are recommended by our SAFE members. Jenna and I do not recommend these books. So these books, and there's many of them listed here, are all recommendations that come from you, our SAFE members. The latest videos, these are the videos of our presentations that we edit and post to the website. You'll find the latest presentations right here on the homepage, so you don't have to go hunting for them. The latest films that we recommend, again, Jenna and I don't recommend them. These are from our members, so you can, if you're having a movie or an auditorium night where you'd like to show a film, you can read about them here and have a discussion afterwards. That seems to work really well. And of course, we have another join button at the bottom, just like we have at the top. So I'm going to make you dizzy for 1 second and scroll back up here to the top. Apologies for that. I'm going to point out a few highlights, maybe more than a few on the website, but I'm not going to look at every single page on the website. Our SAFE 5-year strategic plan is now listed here on our website. You can download it and print it out and share it with whoever you like. And I would also like to point out one of our most visited pages on the website, our chapter communities page. I know that people are interested in seeing where the chapters are located. So not only do we have a list, but we have this really fun interactive map where you can look at where the chapters are located. You may see a pattern here. We're on either side of the country, so hopefully we'll fill this in with dots at some day in the middle. And I bet you didn't know, but if you click on one of these once, you get a little photo of the community with their contact information. So really fun. I do not pick these photos. This is purely an embed from Google Maps, but a really fun and interactive way if you need to find a chapter and like to talk to them. Okay, so real quick, all of those what's new items is posted on this news page. So when they are done with being on the home page, this is where they end up. There's a lot of them. You can search for them. If you have a particular topic, you can sort them by category. And what I'd really like to point out now is this section here, Path to Zero. So it's Path to Net Zero. This is the core of SAFE's mission. We have a amazing new resource if you haven't seen it yet, and this is the SAFE Pathway to Net Zero for senior living communities. You can search through this extensive resource for topics, or you can browse through them. And here's the homepage with all of the categories. But what I really like is when you click on an article, all of those categories will stay on the left side. You read the article here, and on the right side, you'll see a table of contents. This gives you a snapshot of what is in this actual article. And if you click on anything, you can just jump down in the article to where that content is. Really fun. You can print. So you can print any of these articles. And let me choose a page here that's a little bit more printer friendly. When you print one, you don't get all of the navigation on the website. Many of you have tried to print a web page, I'm sure, and it doesn't come out very well. So this really helps when you're trying to print. Also, when you're browsing through this, if you want to read it like a book, you can go down to the bottom and click Next. And you can continue to follow through the entire pathway. You may notice by looking at the categories on the left, a lot of this has to do with energy, removing fossil fuels, your carbon footprint, and so on. We have a lot of support for planning, making the case, and specific opportunities to have to do with buildings and electricity. This section here, beyond energy, other opportunities which many of you may be interested in, such as transportation, water, food, our natural systems, and our landscaping. This is what I hope to build out next year, along with some of these other areas. Keep in mind, this entire resource is what we call version 1. So we're just getting started with this sort of information, and it's groundbreaking. There is no other resource like this on the internet for senior living communities. So,
Lest people think that you and Jenna authored this. I think we
oh
need a
no,
shout out. I think we need a shout out.
absolutely. I am sorry. I've done it so many times. I'm sorry I was remiss. So this vision, this was the vision of George Alexander from Longwood. This is 5 years in the making, and he wrote, I think, about 60 articles that ended up in this guide. And we have an amazing editing team that also took over, edited, rearranged, made suggestions, and brought it up to date because this information evolves quickly. So we have to make sure that we are accurate in what we say. I would also like to thank Ed Gellenbeck from Rosevilla, who helped me put the information in this format. He's an absolute whiz when it comes to technology. Okay, so also under this path to zero is where the resources live. So we have an environmental sustainability plan for senior living communities. We have a definition now developed. This came out of the Sustainability Task Force chaired by Bob Gettings. You can download that definition here, and it tells you the key components of a senior living community's environmental sustainability plan and the implementation factors. Again, we're just getting started with this right now. As we speak, we are organizing additional focus groups to get chapters specific details and challenges on where they are with their sustainability plan, and then we'll have more resources coming out of that task force in the next year. If you don't know yet, this was not published in 2025, but we have these other resources. If you'd like to calculate your carbon footprint for senior living communities, you can use Portfolio Manager, which is a free application. And we have a guide that was developed by Joel Brody, actually, who calculated his carbon footprint for Collington using this. So you can download how he did that. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Joel.
Michelle Jimwick also worked on this.
Ah, that's Jim Wick. I am so sorry I'm not giving all the credit due to the amazing SAFE volunteers who helped. You can download the energy and greenhouse gas audit RFP. So if you are going to hire a contractor for an energy or greenhouse gas emissions reduction audit, we have a request for proposal template ready to go. We have a unit turnover guide. So when you are turning over a unit, it's a good opportunity to make sustainability related changes, not just cosmetic changes. And we have a guide for that. And we have a building certifications review. So there are many green building certifications, not just LEED. So this is a sort of compare and contrast matrix that a lot of research went into this and review. You can download that if you're interested. Now I'd like to move over to our resources section. New this year is a new member guide. So if you are new, you can start here. If this is all overwhelming for you, it makes it simple. You can click on these things and take the first few steps to get started, which might be a good way to send somebody who's new to SAFE to get them more involved. We have our advocacy page where I like to keep what I call evergreen actions. Our advocacy team works on more timely actions, but we have a few things here that you can always do. And this reminds everyone that SAFE does work on advocacy actions. That was the spirit in which we were founded and started. And so I like to keep actions here that everyone can take at any time. And please let me know if you're interested in advocacy. We'll connect you with the advocacy team. One of our most used pages, chapter sustainability tracker. You can get a snapshot of what all of the chapters are up to in terms of sustainability using this chart. It has a key on the right. It's an awful lot to look at, but it gives you a snapshot. It kind of tells you where the activity is happening with which campuses, and the chapters are listed across the top. The topics are listed down the left. And underneath here are definitions of these topics. So if you have a question about a particular topic, there are definitions. And you can download this whole thing as a printable PDF as well. People have found that to be a very useful resource. I would be remiss if I didn't say one of our shining achievements has always been our SAFE newsletter. You can download the newsletter here. You can order more copies. And you can flip through it with this handy dandy book-like format, complete with page sounds if you'd like to read it online. Okay.
Michelle, just because they're both here, a shout out to Ruth Crawford and Larry Bailey.
Yes,
the two
absolutely.
of them, plus all of their volunteer writers, have created an amazing, amazing vehicle.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mary. And I have a little slide later about that as well. So absolutely. Thank you so much, Ruth and Larry. And our case study library, if you will. So you can look up all of the different case studies that have been published at SAFE, and you can find a template at the bottom if you'd like to send us your case study. Tell us what worked for you, what didn't work, and we will publish it here. You can browse through it by category or search through it. We have our SAFE videos. So all of the presentations that we have where we've been allowed to record are here on this video page, including the CEO panel on sustainability and our most recent speakers. You can go back in time. I know many of you have actually looked up a particular topic and presented it at your community. So a good resource for you for topics to present at your community. Okay, our films. These films are recommended by you, our SAFE members. You can search through them. You can filter by category. There are a lot, so you might want to take a look at all of these. And at the bottom, there is a form to send me your film recommendation if you don't see it here. Similarly, we have the same idea in books. Member recommended books are here. You can sort through them, you can search through them, and at the bottom again is a form. If you don't see a book here, but you think we all should know about it, please let us know and we'll post it here on the website. And our Earth Day page. Now this page is just chock full of information, and Earth Day is not too far around the corner as we head into 2026. We have planning ideas and best practices. We have some printouts. We have the famous Burma Shave signs and jingles. We have brochures that you can order, flyers. We have a video loop that you might want to play in the background, songs, And of course, our wonderful photo album. I just love looking through these photos. They are so bright and cheerful, and they really give you good ideas on what you might want to do at your campus for Earth Day. Now, something that's brand new, and I'm going to talk about a little bit later, the Ask Safe listserv. This is an email listserv. You can hop on here and ask SAFE members directly if you have questions or would like to discuss something via email. This is only for SAFE members who are residents of SAFE chapters. It explains exactly how to subscribe on this page, and I'm going to show you an example of the topics that we've been discussing in just a minute. Another important page is the meetings and groups. These are our meetings and how to register, their times and dates, and who can attend. Many of you have asked me, can staff attend this meeting or that meeting? That is all listed here. The topics that we cover in the meetings are listed here. And thanks to Jenna, this will be expanding. We have our plastics work group, reducing waste, and we have our sustainable eating, and soon we will have more such as landscaping and native plants. So keep an eye on that. And last but not least, and Mary will talk about this in a minute at the end of the meeting, our Ways to Give page has been updated. So many of you have sent in your checks, and thank you so much for supporting us. You can also pay with a credit card through a secure donate link. We have all sorts of opportunities such as electronic funds transfer, donor advised funds. My favorite, the birthday and holiday gift ideas with a little message that you can copy and put in an email to your friends and family that you'd like to make a donation instead of receiving a gift. More memorial and tribute gifts, and qualified charitable distributions, and so on. And we also have a form on the right here. If you have any questions, you can fill that out and we'll get right back to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to pop back into my presentation. Okay, so this is where we were. We went on our tour on our electric bus. Okay, so the Ask Safe email listserv. These are the topics that have shown up so far. We launched this in August 2025. We have a small but growing group of SAFE members who've joined. And we had a questions about green restaurant certification. We had a discussion about CCRC waste audits. Question about the Kindle Ithaca green audit. Who's sharing the ride? Third-party sustainability assessment. All electric kitchens at CCRCs, do they exist? Rain barrels, carbon offset films or documentaries. Now, we didn't come up with these topics. This is what SAFE members wanted to talk about with each other. So what does this look like? Well, it looks just like an email, and this is my inbox. I took a screenshot of it. When you get an email from this listserv, it'll say Ask Safe in the subject line, so you know it's part of the listserv. This was a question about a green restaurant certification, and then we got an answer right away from somebody who lived at Seabury who had a green restaurant certification at their community. And that's what this is all about. So how do I subscribe? Well, you can email this sort of unwieldy email address, which is on the website, and we can put it in the chat later on, or you can ask me. I can sign you up directly, me or Jenna. And the instructions will follow. So if you're worried about inbox or overflow in your inbox, the default setting is daily digest. So you don't have to worry about getting too many emails. And if there aren't any discussions that day, you won't get any email. So you will not get barraged with emails. Okay, I'm moving on rather quickly here. I want to talk about our first CEO
Michelle,
panel.
could I
Yes.
just jump in quickly and do a blurb for the listserv? I've been a participant on two of them. They're very helpful. People respond extremely quickly and helpfully. And if it's not a particular issue that you've been concerned with, it might strike a chord as something you ought to pay attention to. It's a great deal.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you for the plug. I appreciate it. Yeah, it may seem mysterious to some people, or others may be on a lot of listservs and may think, oh no, not another, another bunch of emails, but really it's infrequent and the quality is high. So I really encourage you to get on there because we could share so much more information with more people on there. Okay, so in October, thanks to Jenna's excellent coordination, we had our first CEO panel on sustainability with these 4 amazing CEOs. We got a chance to ask some questions about what they're doing at their communities, and we opened it up for Q&A for the residents to ask questions. I love having panels like this because it gets everyone on the same page. We hear about their challenges and their successes, and probably most important to me is that they hear from each other in this situation. So I think that this is going to do a lot to advance sustainability at all of our chapters, and we hope to have more of these panels in the future. Early in the year, we had dining director panels with the sustainable eating and food systems. We had 6 dining directors, and the first one we had was reducing single-use plastics dining director panel. So moving into 2026, we will definitely have more panels on the horizon. If you haven't made all of our general meetings on the first Thursday of the month, these are all of our topics I have listed here. We had Mary Evelyn Tucker talk about the Emerging Alliance of Religion and Ecology. We had Sustainability at Swarthmore College, presented by Elizabeth Drake. We had Cisco, the big food supplier, come and talk about their sustainability initiatives, which was quite an eye-opener. We had Greener U, Jennifer and Chris from Greener U presented Pathways to Decarbonization. A very popular speaker, Jennifer Tabinico, talked about sparking behavior change for good. So, looking at behavior changes from a psychological point of view. And this, again, all of these are recorded except for the Cisco one. They didn't want to be recorded, but all of these are recorded and on the website. We had a good presentation from Jim Williford from Rose Villa about the resilient campus planning, including their sustainability efforts. Really interesting and forward-looking projects that they're involved in there at Rose Villa. We had The Power of Collective Action for a Livable Future by Rick Moody. We had Ditch That Fall Cleanup with Claudia Thompson. Very popular, especially it was presented in September, so it was timely. We had Plastic Like Diamonds Are Forever from Captain Charles Moore. He was the one that discovered the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, so quite a good speaker. We had Gary List from Zero Waste. And what I'd like to point out is this is institutional zero waste. This is not personal zero waste, which is also important, where you're buying shampoo bars instead of plastic. This is zero waste at the institutional level, and he does hold courses on that, and of course today. And if you haven't noticed, Jenna produces these amazing flyers that she includes in each one of our emails. Okay, of course, our newsletter. Ruth and Larry, thank you so much for all of your hard work. I could not do this without them, and believe me, they do the lion's share of the work. And all of our guest authors who have written have done a tremendous amount of work and always get the articles to us on time. I really appreciate that. Here are our 4 issues, volume 5. Every year we have a volume, so this is our 5th year on our newsletter. And I know that these are making a big difference. I got a call from Beyond Plastics, having read that article there on the right, and we talked to them, and Jenna and I had a really good putting our heads together kind of talk with their organization. Somebody handed them the newsletter article, so we love that. Okay, so for all of you named Ted, forgive me for using your name, but I'm going to take you on a typical journey from idea to impact. I'm often asked, how does SAFE make an impact at the community? And it is often what I call an attributed impact. In other words, we don't go out at the community and turn the levers and make an actual impact directly, but we do have an influence. So let me see if I can get this to progress. There. So here is Ted, our SAFE member. And Ted has some ideas, but he has questions, and he attends a regular SAFE Zoom meeting. Ideas are exchanged. So he gives his advice and ideas. He collects advice and ideas from SAFE meetings. But the path is not straight from idea to impact. He may see something in one of our emails, which leads him to a case study that he downloads. And with a lot of collaboration and time and effort, then we may see the impact that we're looking for at the community. So that's a sort of circuitous path that often happens from idea to impact. And a little bit about managing SAFE. It is absolutely a labor of love. We love what we do, and what you see is typically the top of the iceberg. There's an awful lot that goes into managing SAFE. Jenna and I and the board members, there's a lot of administrative work and a lot of organizing and planning that goes into managing SAFE. Okay, so what is on the horizon? So I'm probably going to stop sharing here and let some of you chime in about what is on the horizon, but I will say that there will be more programming, more amazing guest speakers, and of course our newsletter. We will have more panels, and that safe pathway to net zero will definitely be taken to the next level with version 2 and beyond. So I'm going to stop.